Welcome back to the Beast Speak blog. This is a series where I tell you what the Beast has been saying to me and how I overcame it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Beast is your addictive voice, the AV in AVRT of rational recovery. If you can recognize that beast, then you can separate yourself from your urges, and that can result in immediate and lifelong abstinence. If you want to learn more about rational recovery or how to do AVRT, I'll link Virginia's story in the description box below. You can check that out. It's a good place to get started. I've always been a loner. I don't care what other people think about me. That's why I've always had the courage to be honest, because what other people thought didn't matter. It wasn't an arrogant thing. I didn't need other people's reassurance. But there was one person in my life who I cared to impress, and that was my biological father. I wanted him to regret not having me in his life. I wanted to have been worth having. So I used to craft my letters to him in an excruciating detail. That's how I became a writer. And by extension, through that experience, writing is really the only thing I've ever truly been good at. I want to care for my family with that same level of intensity and craftsmanship. But because I've never cared about the outside appearances, it leaves me neglectful of superficial things. A pile of dishes in the sink, it's almost invisible to me. But a sink full of dishes, that leaves a child feeling uneasy. So how do I become more cognizant of the details and care for my family thoroughly? I used to wonder if something handcrafted came with more positive energy embedded in it, like a blanket factory sewed had less coziness than one crocheted by Grandma. Of course, not everything has a pretty final product. Some things you have nothing to show for what you've done other than an absence of a mess. Well, I guess that leaves you with more order and it nurtures a tranquil mind. But those things have to be done a million times or everything progresses towards decay. At least when you have the satisfaction of a well-fed child, you're contented to make a good meal. Of course, the kids have to cooperate, and if you don't know how to get them on board, it can feel like wasted effort. What does this all have to do with the beast? Well, the beast hates progress. It wants you sitting comfortably exactly where you are. But I always loved growth. In a post by Orion Taraban, he talks about loving like the sun. The sun sends its rays not for the exchange of value, but just because it's being a star. He says you can see a love like this that's beyond the value of exchange most easily in a parent watching their child from afar. They are content just to watch their child play. They don't want to interrupt. They don't want to be obeyed. They don't want to be compensated. They just want to watch their children grow up. And you know what? I think that's all our ancestors or God could ever want from us too. I was listening to Teal Swan talk about anger and how anger is actually a rescue emotion that tries to save us from the unworkability of a situation. It's a desperate attempt to thwart your powerlessness. All needs can be negotiated. All needs deserve to be met. But what happens if your only need is to get high? You've thwarted all your human needs for the supernatural high chemicals can give you. Then the addict uses his discarded human needs as a ploy to get the only thing that really matters to him, his next fix. This is when saying no is the only way to help him. Sure, give him emotional support. Sure, give him something to eat, but know that he's just trying to game you for his next high. You can rally behind him and you want what's best for him, but he's the one who's got to crawl out of the situation. By telling the beast, I will never get high again, and listen to it squirm. And in its howls of desperation, you can know that you are gaining control over it. There's no solution outside our own personal responsibility. Even if you think you'll draw the will from God, it still ends up with you doing the right thing in the end. No one else is going to do it but you. Rule yourself, defeat the beast. Thank you.